Well, here we are on another route. This time we've jumped on to the Blackpool Branches route to give you this service from Blackpool North to Manchester, Victoria. We'll only be going as far as Preston, but we will be having a quite good journey. We're going to unlock these doors, get the show on the road, and yeah, take you on a journey. Now, I love this route, I really do. I think it's an absolute cracking route. We're going to put our destinate. We're going to do. We've got all these little extra bits here, so I'm going to show you what we've got. So first of all, destination light. I think. Where's that? There we go. So this does this. We're going to set this to. Believe it or not, we are. Oh, let's do the AWS first. Put that on, and we're going to put this to Manchester, Victoria. Okay. We're going to put our headlights on as well. And we are off here. So as you can see, we're at this beautiful station. I say it's beautiful. It's average to say the least. But across the way, you can actually see over here the Blackpool Tower, and that's one of the highlights of the route. You can see the Blackpool Tower. Now, I don't know how close you can get to it. I'm going to say, oh, actually, there you go. Look, you can just see there. It's actually built into the map. You can't get much further than that. There's a car park there. But you can see it's built on like a little island, like a little bit of grass. There's nothing else to see over there apart from that it's built like that. But visually, from the station point of view, you are looking from over here at the station. All you need to see really is the top of the tower or a part of it, just to give it that effect. That's all you're looking at, really. You're not really concerned with what happens, but we're going to shut the doors on this train, and we're going to get moving to our first station, which is Kirkham and Wesham. And we leave in style. Quite a full train, actually. That's a very, very busy train we've got there, which is very unusual. We've got another pacer over here, which will be probably going out in a little while. And there's already people on there as well. They're just trapped in this train. Hope it ain't too hot. So as we leave Blackpool North, we are going to see some sights along the way that I'm going to show you, as usual, things that I find quite aesthetically pleasing. One of the first ones is over here. You've got this signal box, which you can actually visit. The doors are open in these signal boxes, and if you go in here, there's a signalman there who's just sitting on the job, not bothered. But you have got things like this, and it just gives you a little bit of a, you know, it don't really mean much. And up here you've got like a little break room. We got a microwave and a Preston PN kind of thing, and as we look across the window, our train, our pacer, goes into the Blackpool distance. So that's quite a nice little effect. Now you see a load of these vans as well en route, these British Rail vans. Spot as many as you can in this video. Let me know how many you see along route. Over here you've got some sidings, and these sidings normally have quite a lot of Class 47s in, ready to go out and stuff, but they are normally based over there. Nothing there at the moment, which is surprising, but we are like sort of kind of early evening time of day, so I reckon that's probably why we haven't got anything on the route. Here, this is quite interesting. Blackpool FC. Nice little touch to the game. So we're going to go for our first station here, which we won't be actually stopping at. We're going straight through this. We've got 7 miles for our station, but we will have a look around this station. It's quite quaint, actually. This is Leighton. So it's quite a bog standard station, as you can see, but it's got all the all the stuff you need. It's quite a nice station. You know, it's not that bad. And you got like things like this over here as well. You know, just random stuff. Really good little bit of good bit of work on their behalf of adding everything in. It's quite, as I said, quite aesthetically pleasing, some of this route. It's a very nice route, and especially if you're playing at this time of night, like 7 o'clock en route, it looks really beautiful. There's a train going past us, another pacer going into Blackpool North. And I'm going to show you another little thing which I really find great about these trains. Is you've got this here, the public announcement system. And you can actually click this and it will actually say, if you listen carefully,
the next stop is Kirkham and Wesham.
There you go. Now, the only downside to that public announcement thing is if you've got that on your actual use this train on another route, sadly, and I'm going to say this because I feel like this is a real bugbear of mine. I always find these little bits that I just don't like. The fact is, if you've got that on another route, it will always say the same stuff. It will not change to the route that you are on. So you've got no way of changing that whatsoever. That will always remain how it is. Okay. So when you're playing the game, bear that in mind. That you will always get the same station to come up, and most of the time you get stuck on a certain station. So yeah, it's a bit disappointing to say the least. We're slightly over speeding here. This is the Bernays Loop here, which is coming past, where you get a lot of freight traffic come through, and a couple of actual closed stations up there, or disused stations that the platforms are still available to see. They've left that in the game, so keep a lookout for that. So here we come. I normally stop at this station. This is quite one of the popular stations along the route. But we're not stopping there on this journey. So this public address system actually does change. Sometimes it says the next stop is whatever it is, Kirkham and Wesham. Or sometimes it will say we are now approaching Kirkham and Wesham, or something like that. It doesn't do it automatically, but it's like a very early way of letting the passengers know that, where you're arriving to and stuff like that. It's quite a nice little touch. I do actually like it. I think it's quite unique. Personally, I wouldn't put it in the game. Personally, if it was my choice, I wouldn't put it in the game. But hey ho, sometimes you need to do certain things within the game to, just make it that more interesting. Now, I think we put the AWS on, but I don't think that AWS actually switched on when I switched it. So, oh, there we go. There we go, it's actually on now. I didn't hear it before. Right, so let's get back out onto the route so we don't miss anything. There's a lot of those British Rail trains. How many of you noticed so far? I think I've noticed about 6 or 7. Count them up. Now, little thing over here, on one of my other routes, you look on the routes such as the Medway line, these sheep actually move. Do they actually move in this version? Are they moving? No, they are static. Static sheep, static cows. So the Medway route actually enhanced that sheep ability. So yeah, so that's how far we've come since the Blackpool. But this is the actual update version of the actual Blackpool. So there's a lot more things on it that you might not have had before. So we're just about 4.5 miles away from Kirkham and Wesham. Platform 2, that's where we're coming into. There's a lot of countryside on this route and it's really nice. I do like it a lot. There's a bus there. I don't know where that one's going. Probably to the town centre again. Oh, this one's coming. There's another one here. Let's see where it's going. Yep, town centre. There's a lot of town centres. I wonder how far we are from the actual town centre. Seems like what they've done, like with most of the stuff, because it's a part of the aesthetics, it doesn't really matter what it actually says. So I think that's the important part of the game, that you don't look too much into where the bus is going, what colour it is. and stuff like that. I think it's just part and parcel of the actual route. So over here we've got like a field with a load of hay bales, the standard hay bales that you see in most of the routes. But as I said, there's a lot of countryside, and it's a really tidy route. Like the shadowing, the quality, like it is just good. I do like it a lot. It is a very, very pleasing route. If we look inside the coach, you can actually see it's quite a good little kind of carriage, really, when you think about it. It's got them, as you can see, the bumpy physics. So, you know, and look, when you bend around a corner, you've got that bend. You know, that's quite a bend. I mean, that looks like that's going to derail, but it's going along. But as you can see, it's got that kind of look to it, which is quite nice. You can see that it's got the bounce effect, which is all a part of the physics of the game. But I quite like that. It does give you... It's a little bit pleasing to see that they've actually put the bounce into it. You see, it's quite a nice bounce there. And we've got the horn. We haven't done the horn yet. From outside, it sounds like this. I know people like the horn. Get some tones out. Not the best tone, is it, really, when you think about it? But it's early British rail kind of pacer horn, you know. Oh. So we are about 2 miles from Kirkham and Wesham. Kirkham and Wesham is the bit where it opens up on the split, where you can go to like Blackpool South and stuff. So it's quite a busy part. We will, in a future video, be going from Preston to Blackpool South, and we'll be looking at the Bernays part of the line, the closed part of the route, and the freight terminal, as well as looking at Ormskirk branch as well. We'll be looking at all of those at some point on future videos, but I thought we'd give you a nice evening trip out on the Blackpool line. You know, the Blackpool branches to start off with, and what a great way to start, with the evening sun belting down on us. Right, so we're going to come to a little bit of a slow approach now, because we've got a 30 coming up, as we're going to be going over quite a few points, and we have got a red signal at our next station as well. But that's because I think we're stopping there, so it likes to keep us, you know, it likes to keep us in check, I think, to make sure that we are actually slowing down where we're meant to. So that the line next to me, here to the right, is the Blackpool South split, and there's a train, another pacer, using that split right now. If you look to the right, it's just going on that split. There it is. So that's off all the way to wherever it's going, Blackpool South, I'd imagine. So that's the split part of the route. But there's a lot of lineage here. I'm not quite sure when there's so many lines, because they all sort of merge into one and stuff. But in the day, I imagine that there would have been freight and all sorts coming through here, and I imagine there have been a lot of services travelling along this route. So this is the approach to Kirkham and Wesham. Some nice Capri gears over there, look, there you go. Some nice little touches again. Some nice little trailers and stuff. It's a very nice route, but when you actually play this route, it actually, when you're playing it, it does actually feel like you're actually stepping back into the 80s. It does feel like that. It's got that feel to it. It doesn't feel modern, even though, you know, you're driving a train. That it isn't the train that makes me think that it feels like it's not modern. What makes me think that this route isn't modern, and I'll be absolutely 100% honest with you, is the fact that it looks like it's set in the 80s. Let's get these doors open as we arrive here at Kirkham and Wesham, because on the other platform, I'm going to show you a little surprise, we've got this rather nice Class 47 that's just pulled up, and yeah, no one's decided to get on, even though the doors are open, which is typical of the game. But if we go inside here, these are the carriages we got in the Class 47. Really nice. Proper slam door type trains. Nice, nice work, I think. It's really nice. Don't ask me why no one's getting on. It seems a bit sus, but we do get that an awful lot on this route, and I don't know why, but it is a thing that happens all the time. So yeah, I'm not quite sure about that. But we're off. We're waiting for time waits for no man. We're off 45 seconds early. No one's getting on the train. I can't be bothered waiting for it. But yeah, it is a bit of a... this is the only thing with a lot of these games. Sometimes the passengers don't get on to the actual train. And it kind of makes me think, well, why? Why is that not happening? It almost feels like a constant bump on this route. And I find it a little bit disconcerting. You're playing the game and you think, I'm doing this route, but no one's actually getting on my train. What's the point of me even driving? And they've done an update on this recently, this route. They really updated this route. They put a lot of effort to give it a good, solid update. It seems like, from what I remember, that before the update, people were actually getting on your train. They were actually getting on. Something's happened. I think something's broken within the system, I think. And it's a shame that that's happened. It really is. Because I would have liked to have seen that. But as we come out of Kirkham and Wesham, we're back in the countryside. And we're on our way now to Preston. So if we push this now, our public address system.
The next station stop is Preston, where this service ends.
Now that's a slightly confusing thing there, because it says this is where the service ends. We know for full fact that this train is actually going to Manchester, Victoria. So really, already, it's kind of lying to us in a way, because it shouldn't say that. It's terminating because we can't go any further than that. But this train will continue without us getting involved. I feel like that's a little bit of a misleading thing for the passengers on board this train, because I probably think, well, what's going on? There's no trains leaving this service when there is. So yeah, a little bit annoying there. I've got to say, that's a little thing that, yet again, that we're picking up. But as you play these routes more and more, you do start to notice little things that really are either unnecessary or don't work within the game. And I think that is one of the things that I'm not particularly happy about. Now there's a station coming up that we're going to approach called Salwick, and for some reason it's like a bit like a ghost town station. I don't think I've ever stopped at it on any of the timetabled routes, and I don't know why I haven't. I don't know whether it's just generally out of action or whether that's a thing. I don't really know. But when we get there, you'll see what I mean. It almost looks like a closed station, but it's not, and it makes me think, well, what is the point of this? You know, we're coming up to it very, very shortly. In fact, and I'll show you exactly what I mean. But nothing really stops at it. I think this is it here. So let's just quickly show you this. It's a bit like one of those stations that have closed and just been going for it for the fun of it. And here it is here. Let's dive off. But look, it is like a closed station. I mean, there's no benches, it's just a platform. But you do see passengers actually walking down from here, down onto the platform. But no trains that I've been on actually stop there. Which I find really bizarre. And I don't know why. But if you set a route up, like if you actually create your own route, you can actually stop at a station. It can be one of the places you stop at. But it's just it's a bit of an anomaly. Maybe at this point that this game is set, maybe at that point it was actually done and dusted. Maybe it was at the end of its life. Maybe it was due to close, or maybe it was due for refurb. I don't know. very strange situation. I don't know the history enough to actually know why that's like it is in the game. Maybe drop that in the comments, anyone that's watching this, and let me know what your take is on it. Maybe you're a bit more educated on this route than I am. So we're just coming. We've got about 3.5 miles now to Preston. We should be there very, very soon. We're sprinting along at a nice 71 mile an hour. And as we come into Preston, things will start to build up. Now, people are going to ask me why I don't like some routes, why I like some. I think we've all got our favourites. I think we've all got our least favourites. For me, people say, what is your favourite route? And I would say the West Coast Main Line, south. It's one of the ones that I use all the time. I like it because there's a lot of traffic, there's a lot to do, and there's always something happening on that route. It's never boring. You know, it's just not going along aimlessly. Passengers actually get on your trains as well. It's good. I like it for that reason. However, I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure about it. But there you go. That's another thing. I'd say my least favourite route is probably one of the steam engine routes, such as the Spirit of Steam, like the Liverpool route, and stuff like that. But I'm not really keen on the historical routes as well. There are some good ones like this one, but then you get the poor ones like the Trans-Pennine Express one, and the one that goes from Leeds, I think, to Huddersfield, and the one that the Tees Valley line. They're just awfully modelled. They really need remastering and re-looking at, because they are bad. Like, there's no passengers around. You're going from stations. There's not enough traffic. It's just a very poor route, those two. And I'll even chuck the Cornwall route, the original Cornwall route, in there as well. I find that very tedious as well. Yet again, lack of traffic, and you're just fleeting up and down this long, boring route. Not one of my favourites, I've got to say. But yeah, that's the question that I get asked a lot. So I hope that's answered some of it. But we're coming to Preston, and as I said, things are building up. When we look out here, you can actually see we've got churches. I mean, we've got two churches opposite each other here in the distance. There's another church over in the far right of the screen. But yeah, we're actually coming into Preston, and as you come round this bend, Preston will actually come alive a little bit. You'll see a lot of trains doing their thing. You just heard the ping there of the AWS. That, in fact, is where it kicks in on the route. So it hadn't been, I think in the 80s, hadn't been built on that part that, like the Blackpool North section of the route. It was just built in the Preston. But there's a Class 47 going out on its journey. There it goes. Nice to see that. And over here, two 101s just sitting there strategically. Lovely little trains to drive those are. We'll do them in a later episode. We will. I wonder if we're going to see anything else as we come into the station. Now, Preston's been modelled very well in this game, but it's been used so many times in the game that I feel like it's getting a bit. Yet again, I'm not loving it. Is that a Class 47 over there? No. Oh yeah, look at this. I don't know what happened to this one. Nothing on it, but it's carrying some containers. I like that. I haven't seen that before on the route, and I haven't seen that livery either. But we've got another pacer in the station, which I think is that pacer. No, it's the 47. It's another 47, and we're just gonna might be off the Blackpool North, but we've arrived in Preston, and we're just gonna pull up right here. We're gonna open those doors. station announcements. Can't find the speaker. I'm trying to hear what they're saying. So we've got a map here, which is the whole route. So, yeah, it's quite good. It's quite nice. But there is a line closure. This is what you need to note out here is that the line between Kirkham and Wesham and Blackpool South will be closed due to construction of the Pleasure Beach Railway. You can actually go past it on the route. It's actually a little extra that they put into the route that you can actually visit that part of the route. So if you're interested, have a little look. It's a little new thing that they've added into the route, but it's so unique and so good. If you get a chance to look at it, please do. Go past the Blackpool Pleasure Beach. Make sure you got it turned in. It's like a Mastery Award, I think. But there you go. We have finished this first part of the route to Preston. We've done it. Join us next time when we'll be continuing this route on to Blackpool South and Ormskirk. Until then, keep liking, subscribing and sharing, and thank you very much for joining me on this Blackpool Branches special. Until next time, goodbye.